Welcome back to the Bourbon Retriever. And today is an exciting topic because we're going to talk about some of the brand new whiskeys that are coming to market in 2024. I tried to make a top 10 list, but a couple more snuck in there, including an honorable mention. That's actually a bourbon that I'm not looking forward to in hunting 2024. Before we get in that list, I wanted to let you guys know about my first live stream that I'm doing March 15th at 8 p.m. I'm going to be popping the old Rip Van Winkle to celebrate hitting 1,000 subscribers. I went ahead and created a link and a thumbnail for the live stream. I put a link down in the description below. Make sure you click on that and hit the notification button so you don't miss when I go live, because I'm going to do a 1 ounce giveaway of the old Rip Van Winkle. There might be some other giveaways on the live streams too. I'm still working that out, but you're not going to want to miss it. All right, so the first bottle I'm going to talk about today is actually a bottle that I am not looking forward to hunt, and it is the new Elijah Craig Barrel Proof A124. This is coming in at the lowest age statement, a 10-year age stated product, which is about the age of a lot of the single barrels on the market, and it's also coming in at under 120 proof. After, with them coming out with the C batch, it's just really hard for me to justify spending the money on this batch. I think I'm gonna end up waiting until the B batch and C batch come out this year and just fingers crossed that it's higher proof and a higher age statement. Now, staying with Heaven Hill, we're gonna talk about the Heaven Hill 18 year. This is probably the top of the line product that comes out of Heaven Hill every year. This comes out every year in the spring. This year is an 18-year-old product coming in with the Elijah Craig mash bill. I have a sneaking suspicion this is what Heaven Hill is doing a lot with their older juice. Instead of blending it into the Elijah Craig barrel proofs, they're saving them for special releases such as the Heaven Hill, or maybe a Parker's release, something like that, where they can get a little more bang for the buck. Now, these bottles are super hard to get. In Virginia, when they come in the drops, a store may get one, most stores get none. So it's gonna be rather difficult, but at least is a pour that I'm looking to try and get at a bar if I can, just because historically this is some of the best juice they put out. And with myself being an Elijah Craig fanboy, this being an 18-year-old product of the Elijah Craig mash bill, coming in at 120 proof, which is a decent proof for that age statement, sign me up, I'm on board. So the next bottle I'm going to talk about comes from Old Forester, and it is their newest addition to the Whiskey Row series, 1924. What's really cool about this product is it has a 10-year age statement on it, which is very unusual for Old Forester. Typically the only things that have age statements are the birthday bourbon. Some of the 117 series have age statements on them. Most notably coming to mind is the 9-year Bottle and Bond, which I love that bottle. So if this is anything close to that, I'm gonna be all in. So the story behind 1924 is during Prohibition, a lot of distilleries went under because they weren't able to produce whiskey. Old Forester was able to still produce and sell whiskey because they had a medicinal license. So in 1924, what Old Forester did was buy a lot of the barrels from the distilleries that had closed down, repackage them, and sell them under the Old Forester label. If you go and look at the mash bill for the 1924, it is the old early times Bottle and Bond mash bill. And if you've been following the bourbon news, you'll know that Old Forester Brown-Forman sold that brand to Sazerac. So I guess instead of Old Forester buying barrels from other distilleries, they're taking barrels from a brand that no longer exist under their umbrella and rebarreling them into a new brand, bringing up this connotation of the 1924 history with Old Forester. Now, typically I look for higher proof products, and this one's coming in at 100 proof. However, I am actually okay with that initially without having it yet, is because I think Old Forester is typically best at 100 proof. If you can find any of the black labels out there, go out and get them. They are some of the best juice that Old Forester puts out. I do like a lot of the blue labels, however, oftentimes they can just be an ethanol bomb. So the next one on the list is probably the one I have the most mixed feelings for, and it is the Russell's Reserve 15. I don't know if this is replacing the 13 or if this is a new extension. You know, they're gonna have the 13 and 15 this year. It is the same color scheme. My guess is it will replace the 13 batches this year, just given that it's the same color. Russell Reserve wants the credit for how old the juice is in the barrels, and the batch they made this year probably was just a little older, and they're thinking, let's just add a higher age statement on there to reflect the barrels that are in there and maybe get a little more coin out of it. And that is my big concern with the Russell Reserve 15. The Russell Reserve 13 was already getting a little outrageous with their pricing. The last one came out at $150 for a 13-year age stated product. It was getting close to my breaking point. And with this product coming at 2 years older, I wouldn't be surprised if it's closer to the $200 price range. That's just going to be a little difficult to stomach. I do love Russell Reserves. It's some of my favorite product they put out. I'm going to definitely search for a bar pour if I can. If I see it in the store for $200, I'll probably snag it just because the FOMO will kill me. But it's definitely one that I'm nervous on the price point they're going to release it at. So the next two we have coming in are from Maker's Mark. The first one is their new finishing line, and I think this one's called the Heart Series. From my original understanding, the wood finishing series was over. They were done with it. They weren't coming back. But I guess maybe it did so well, they're like, we got to let it keep going. So they have this next installment. It says it's a volume of 1 of 5, so it sounds like there's going to be 5 releases under this new series. The proof is a good proof point for makers. Most of their stuff is under 110, so this is coming in at 112, which is a nice little bump. And this finishes with 10 virgin oak staves. That's going to be up my alley. I'm not a big typically finish fan, but if you are going to finish it, oak staves are my preferred finish. Now the next bottle I'm going to talk about is the Lost Recipes series. I don't know if this is a one-off bottle or something they're going to continue, but this is throwing back to the Mocha Stave. If you follow the Maker's Mark Private Select series, the Mocha Stave was recently taken out and another stave was added in its place. So my guess is they're going to do this type of release each time they switch out the different staves. For people who have been around Maker's Mark for a while, this is probably a bottle you don't need to really chase because you understand what the Mocha Stave tastes like. But if you're someone who had just gotten bourbon and wasn't around when the Mocha Stave was a possibility, this could be a nice, interesting bottle to see if you can get a taste of and chase down, just to know what some of those older private selects used to taste like. And the next one we're going to talk about is the Elijah Craig Toasted Rye. I'm excited for this product because I really want these traditional distillers to start producing more just foundational bourbons, and this is an example of a bourbon I'm hoping that will come in at a very reasonable price point and can be another just core release for the brand. And I'm really excited to try this product. Coming at 94 proof, it should be a nice, simple, sweet sipper. You'll have also the nice spice coming from the rye with the melting out of the sweetness of the toasted, and I think all that together could make a nice, just well-rounded drink for you to have. And instead of just adding finishing staves, they're actually putting it in a second barrel. They're twice barreling this, so it should have a ton more flavor. Now, one of the bottles that I am anticipating the most, and I really hope I can track down, is the Bowman Cask Strength Batch 3. This is coming in at 9 years, and it is under the hazmat. This is in the high 130s. Typically in the past, like Batch 2 and 1 are both 10 years and 140 plus, so it's a little disappointing to see it a little lower. But regardless, it is still a bottle I am trying to hunt down. Bowman just did their lottery in January, and I did not win. The next chance will probably be if Virginia ABC will do a lottery. My guess is sometime in the fall like they did last year. There won't be many of them, but fingers crossed I can get it. The A. Smith Bowman batches come toe-to-toe with the George C. Sags of the world, so if you can get these bottles at any type of reasonable cost, I would 100% recommend them. They are some of the best products that are out there. And the next two products coming out are from Bargetown. The first I'll talk about is they're doing single barrels of their ryes. Last year they came out with single barrels of the white label, and this year they're doing single barrels of the rye. My only concern with this one is the price. The rye is the most expensive of their 3 core base products, so it makes sense that their single barrels are probably going to be a little more expensive also. As long as these can stay under 80, I think they would be decent buys. And when I did the barrel thieving tour at Bargetown, maybe 2 years ago at this point, I was able to try all 3 at barrel proof from the barrel, and hands down, the rye was the best at barrel proof. So I am super excited for this product. So the other Bargetown new product I'm looking to get my hands on is their small batch stave finish that they're doing. It's going to come in at a low proof point. I think it's coming in at around 94 proof. It's mostly a blend of 8, 4, and 5-year-old juice with a little bit of 12-year sprinkled in there. So the reason I'm excited for this bottle is the other finish and oak stave project that I had from them was Disco 8. And that was probably my favorite disco in recent memory outside of Disco 11. So if this comes anything close to that, it's going to be a good product. My only concern is it is at a very low proof point, and the blended of ages in this is on the lower side. I think the Disco 8 had much older juice in it. But if Bargetown can come out at a reasonable price, this will be one that I'll be looking for. But on the other hand, if this comes out at their $200 price tag, it's going to be one that I'm probably have to skip. Now, a bottle that I am shocked to see on this list is a bottle coming out of Woodford. Woodford doesn't really have that many product extensions compared to other major distilleries out there, but they're coming out with a new one this year, and it is their toasted finish. Woodford has their traditional bourbon and their double oak, and now they're coming out with this toasted, which in my mind will probably straddle the two. The traditional Woodford, to me, is a little lackluster. It's an okay mixer, but there's nothing outstanding about it. And then you have the double oak, which might almost be a little too much oak. The aroma on is amazing, but the palate can be a little ashy and just tainted from the oak. So I'm really hoping this can straddle a line between the two, maybe have a little less oak, but have more flavor than just the traditional Woodford product. Now, it'll be interesting to see what the price point on this. The proof is, I'm pretty sure, the same proof as the double oaked, and that is roughly $60. It is a new product, so sometimes they charge a higher price on it for just being new. I really hope this is under 60 though. If it's above 60, it's going to be a much harder sell, but if they can come in at under 60, definitely be one that I'm going to look to try. So the next three I'm going to group together, and they're all coming out from Jack Daniel's. They look to be Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Selects, and they have 3 different names on them. I don't know much information outside of what's on these labels for this, but Jack Daniel's just did a great job last year, so anything with the Jack Daniel's name on it that's coming out new this year, I'm on board for. I am willing to try because they have earned that. Now, I'm really hoping this is some type of sample set. You can maybe buy at the gift shop or somewhere else where it's a 3 set here with different flavors that you can get from their single barrel. I think it'd just be really cool to try the different flavor notes that you could get from a Jack Daniel's single barrel. However, these could also maybe be the nameplates they put on barrels when they send it out for barrel picks. Jack Daniel's might just be helping the different liquor stores or bars as they're doing barrel picks to maybe get an understanding of what Jack thinks when they're sending the pick. Maybe you'll get one of 3 and you can pick one. So if that's the case, it's a little disappointing, but I hope this is a commercial sale product that we can get. The reason I think maybe it is part of that barrel pick program is because on the left of it says for commercial use, not for sale. So that makes me think it has to be some type of sampling system. So now we're going to talk about a bottle that I know I will actually get, and it is the new 15th anniversary bottle coming out of 13th Colony. So I signed up for the lottery. I got almost everyone in my family to sign up for the lottery, and they only released 90 bottles in the online lottery. And for some miracle chance, my mom won, and she is letting me go down and pick up the bottle for her. So the 15th anniversary, it's a blend of 8-year and 9-year-old juice, coming in at just under hazmat, 139.2 proof. This batch is gonna have a little over 3,000 bottles, and the MSRP is $170. Now, $170 is a lot of money to ask for something that's only 8 or 9 years old. It is coming in at almost hazmat, which is a plus, but I've had both the Double Oak Batch 1 and a couple different single barrels, the Bourbon Junkies pick, and a couple others, and all those have been fantastic. So I am 100% willing to pay this $170. I'm super excited to bring it home, taste it, and do a review for you guys. I think it's gonna be fantastic. Now, before we get to the final bottle on the list, if you're enjoying this content, consider subscribing to my Patreon. I'm a small channel, still trying to grow, and funds I receive on Patreon really help the channel grow. I'm starting to realize there are a lot of things that cost money to grow this channel, whether that be starting a website, getting a StreamYard's account, which I did not realize how expensive those are. And there's just a bunch of small things that just add up in the end to cost a decent amount to run the channel. So all those funds I get from Patreon are really helpful in helping my channel grow. So the last bottle we're going to talk about today is a blend of two bottles that I am absolutely a fan of, and it is the Knob Creek Bourbon and the Knob Creek Rye. The Knob Creek Bourbon is 9 years old and the Knob Creek Rye is 7 years old. This is mostly a rye mash bill, coming at 7%, with the rest of it 30% being the bourbon. The proof is coming in at 113 on this. There is no price tag that has been floated for it, but if Knob Creek come anything reasonable on this, I think this could be a strong competitor. Right now, the cheapest staple brewery out there is coming from Redwood Empire. They're coming in normally at around $30, and that is just an absolute steal. So if this one come on the market and help compete with it, I am just super excited to try it. Just because, like I said earlier, I love both components of the bourbon and the rye. They're traditionally a little more caramel and oak forward. Like the Knob Creek Rye is not traditionally a rye. It's a little more bourbon forward. So this might be a good burr rye for someone who's a bourbon lover, just trying to dabble into the rye. So those are some of the bottles that I am excited to hunt for in 2024. But before you head out, check out this video or this one. And until next time, cheers.